China's vast and diverse territory endows the country with some of the most beautiful natural scenery on Earth. The amazing infrastructure and mega project make headlines daily. Today, we are here to talk all about it. This is China from Above.
Well, what an intro that was. That's the professional work over on your side. And, good morning, guys. Good afternoon, wherever you are. I know a lot of you guys already know Alex from Reporterfy Media. And so for those of you who do, you probably have seen his really awesome kind of footage videos he does on his channel. With commentary, there's a level of professionalism, and it's just put together in a way that it's something that you could find on like the Discovery Channel or something like that. So what my goal is here today is to mess that all up and try something completely different. We're just gonna keep this really casual. We got a bunch of clips loaded. Alex will try to keep things professional, and I'm gonna keep trying to derail him with just casual conversations about what we're looking at. But we'll see. It's a little bit of an experiment, isn't it, Alex?
Yeah, I think so. It's kind of like I just want to do an audio test. Make sure, guys, is our audio fine? Just let us know in the comment box. No, it's kind of like, you have people over at your house after you've had a great vacation and you want to show them your videos and you're kind of not sure how they're going to take it. Kind of like, oh, that guy got to see all that. He got to see all that. Why didn't I get to see that? Well, it's kind of like that's what we're here today. So I've compiled a lot of these clips, and I don't think this is going to be the only show we're going to be doing on this because it's China, and there's lots of stuff to cover here. But let's kind of dive into this stuff. Let's have a look what we've, for the last couple of days, we've been uploading all this stuff into the back of the studio. So I don't know, you've spent a lot of time on the road in China. I mean, there's a lot of people that go to cities, but you've actually, packed up your RV, taking your family out on some, major road trips. Maybe you could tell us a little bit more about that. Maybe we can blend into some of the clips that we got.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of, I used to love doing kind of road trips in Canada also. My first big road trip was down to Ohio from Toronto for a LAN party, connect our computers together and play Quake with each other. And after that, I was kind of hooked. That was like when I was, I don't know, must have been like 17, 18, something like that. And then, all the kind of road trips to New York and stuff like that through the Appalachian Mountains, beautiful part of the country there. And now, of course, here I'm in China, I'm going to continue doing what I love. And I've been on the road. I must have done 200, 300,000 kilometers on the roads here, both in the minivan. And now we upgraded this year to an RV, which we're going to have a lot of fun with. We've done a few trips already. Looking forward to doing some stuff into Inner Mongolia and things like that. But for the time being, what we'll do is we'll look at some footage. We'll talk about the footage, what we think of it, some experiences from driving in China, whether it be highway driving or kind of navigating toll booths and things like that. We'll just try to see what we've got here and mix in some stories. And I think on your note also, I just want to make sure if everybody in the comments can just mention are our volumes coming in similar to each other, or is one of us coming in louder than the other? Let me know and we can make some adjustments here.
Thank you, Ken, for that. Appreciate that, Ken. Thank you. I've got a question. Like when I was young and in Canada, we used to go on these skiing road trips out to the mountains. And I just remember driving in my, a 1976 Honda Civic, driving up into I probably wouldn't do it today because I know I'd be putting my life at risk. Taking a 1976 Honda Civic that was probably on its last legs into the Rocky Mountains of Canada on a budget of about 86 Canadian dollars, just enough for a lift ticket, a bag of crisps, and maybe some French fries and a Coke, and that's about it. So this should be adventurous to see what we get up to here in China. Let's have a look here.
What year was the car? Did you say what year was the car?
No, don't you dare!
No, I'm genuinely curious because I had a situation where I had a 95 Golf GTI in Toronto and it broke down on me. The check oil light came on, or check temperature, engine, whatever, and I was like, oh shit, I got to pull over. So I pulled over, but it wasn't fast enough, and you could just hear the engine go and the whole thing.
This was 1970. This was a 1976 Honda Civic. And I remember later on in life driving back to my old hometown with a brand new car after I got into the finance business and seeing a guy sitting at a shopping mall, McDonald's, with my old car. And I said, can I take it for one more spin? And I gave him the keys. Yeah, I gave him the keys to my car for the day. Anyway, thank you guys for the sound check for us, and thank you, Thank you very much for that.
What kind of feedback are we getting on the sound? Are we good?
Great.
On the...
They said
good,
equal,
good.
So that's a good start.
Good.
Okay, so
well, actually, before we continue, I gotta bring in the point that I brought up that when my car broke down. So what I did after that was I found a car that I could just pick up real cheap, and it was a 1981 Honda Civic. And it was $100. I paid $100 Canadian for it, and it was, I guess, like yours too. It was one of those cars with the long stick shifts, and you had to pull the choke out before you started it. It was like, and you imagine driving that in minus 20-degree weather in Toronto. I remember being at the corner of Bloor and Jarvis, and I was making a right, and the light turns green, and then my car stalls, and I'm trying to like pull out the choke, like I'm starting a lawnmower. And the car behind me is getting really angry, honking the horn, and he yells out to me. He yells, move ahead. And I yell it back. I said, it's a 1981 car. Give me a friggin' break. Then we pull up to the next light, and this guy gets out of his car. And he's like this guy with big muscles walking up to my car. And he's wearing a T-shirt in minus 20 degrees. So you know this guy's pretty hardcore.
Right.
Oh man, I'm in trouble now. And my window was a bit open, and he took a loonie, $1, and he threw it in my car. He said, buy yourself a new car.
No.
Yeah. I can't help but say that was a good insult. That was a really good insult. But yeah, we'll that was my little story I wanted to tie into. But let's get on to the point here with some of this footage.
So just want to also let the audience know is anytime during the day that during this live stream, if you want to see some footage of some parts of China, we will dive into our archive, see what we've got. And moving forward, I really like that if the audience tells us, even after today's show, in the comments, like, hey guys, do you have some stuff on this area? Let's dive into maybe your backyard. Do you want to have a look in the clip area there? We've got the number one clip, the bridge. Maybe let's talk about this bridge here.
That's really nice. Yeah. So let me. I've just boosted my audio a little bit in the software, according to some of the feedback here. They're saying you're coming through a little bit louder than me. So hopefully this works. Maybe I'll try to get in a little bit closer too. Let me know if that sounds a bit better. But yeah, let's look at that. Let's open this up and see what we've got here. We've got a bunch of clips. So we have. Did you manage to get Shenzhen Bay Bridge in there, or it was just
yes, I did. Yeah.
High?
Yeah, okay, I got Shenzhen Bay in there. Yeah. I'll look for it later for you. It's down there a little bit there. Yeah, it's down under. Go ahead.
It's down under towards the bottom, is it?
If you scroll down, you'll see Hong Kong, and then under Hong Kong, I got the Shenzhen Bay there.
Okay, if you see it, do you want to just you just want to run it?
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna run this clip, guys. Here we go.
Yeah. So this is the Shenzhen Bay Bridge. This was opening just as I was kind of arriving in China when I moved over here. This is a port that goes from the Nanshan district over to Hong Kong, and I've been lucky enough to drive over this many times. I have one of these, what's called a dual license plate car, and I've been across this many times. It's a beautiful bridge, a very convenient way to get into Hong Kong while you're driving. Oh, I think I'm frozen there. Is my image frozen?
That's okay. We'll get it back soon. Not to worry.
Okay. Yeah.
So go ahead, Daniel. Sorry.
Yeah. No. So, I mean, driving in Hong Kong, and I think we've got some other footage of Hong Kong that we can link to as well. Is just it's one of those places where, especially I guess coming from Ontario, where it's just completely flat. Like there's no character to the land for the most part. Driving in Hong Kong, no matter how many years I drive in Hong Kong, I still it just still amazes me every time. And I say this will never get old. And sure enough, it never got old. It's just such a beautiful place to drive. And let me switch to my laptop camera.
Yeah, let's fire up. While you're doing that, let's fire up some clips here on some of the suspension bridges coming out of Hong Kong. This is some pretty beautiful stuff here. I mean, this is serious eye candy. I'm going to roll this one, Daniel. This is near the port area. You know this area very well. Here we go.
Oh, yeah, this is near the container port, Kwai Chong, I believe it's called. This is one of the biggest, kind of most busiest, most efficient ports in the world. And driving across this bridge, looking at that also, same kind of thing. It's just amazing. You know, I would suppose a lot of the volume has gone down recently there. A lot of stuff is shipping out directly from China now. But it is a sight. It is definitely a sight when you're driving across this. Quite amazing. Now this is not too far. It doesn't take too long to get there from the Shenzhen Bay Bridge. Also, it's about I guess it's about 20-minute drive with no traffic. And that's one of the really great features of Hong Kong too, is some of those bridges. There's the big bridges, the big obvious ones that go across to like Qingyi and stuff like that, which are beautiful. But then you get these other ones that run through the city in certain parts where it's really interesting. You're driving along the bridge, and you're driving beside an apartment building, and the apartment building, you're actually level with like the 20th floor or something like that. And it's just elevated above, and you're just driving sandwiched through this city. It just looks like, I don't even know how to describe it. There's oh yeah, there we go. There's another angle of that area there. But
yeah, that's a large port. You know, I just did a video on China's cargo a couple of weeks ago, and you know, it's staggering that they were saying actually one of the largest, get this, economies, not cities, not countries, but one of the largest economies is actually the port in Shanghai.
Oh wow!
So that just shows you the volume. And I guess, you know, a lot of these containers, you got the 20-foot and the 40-footers in there. I mean, you know a lot about this kind of business. I mean, that's some serious volume coming through there.
Yeah. The biggest constraint right now, actually, is that a lot of the containers aren't coming back, as you probably know. I had some stuff. I mean, I do trade also, and I had some stuff that shipped out just recently, and we originally booked with a carry line called One, and we ended up having to go on another one because they had no more containers left. We had to change to another one. The shipping prices have gone up like crazy because of that also, but. You know, the rest of the world economy hasn't really gotten back up and running fully on its feet. So it's just kind of one way that these containers are going for the most part. I would imagine Hong Kong is probably even more hit because, I mean, a lot of their stuff is it's not stuff that's being produced in Hong Kong for the most part. It's coming across the Shenzhen Bay Bridge, going to that container port and shipping out from there. Clearing. So what it will do is it will clear customs from Shenzhen over to Hong Kong. And then it will leave there, and it's a lot easier to go out that way in some cases.
Now, the surprising thing then, when this pandemic was going on, I was assuming that, you know, trade was going down with all the tariffs. I was thinking, well, you know, the U.S. trade deficit must be, making some way back with all these tariffs. But actually, the opposite happened. The latest statistics coming out was there was 75 billion offset per month now. I mean, what would be driving that? Is it just that the rest of the world needed, you know, a lot of goods? Maybe a lot of the manufacturing was closed down in other parts of the world while China was coming back. I mean, you know,
I guess
that's a big jump.
Yeah. I mean, I guess a lot of it is a big chunk of it will be medical equipment, but I don't think it's that alone. I think, a lot of places are relying on products that maybe they previously had a domestic supply for, or local factories, and now they've just got to switch to China for now. I mean, maybe they'll go back eventually, but it's interesting because the original conversation around this was that's an interesting question I'll get to in a second, Trevor. The conversation in the beginning was that this pandemic has shown that we really we can't rely on China, because look at what happens to our global supply of products and stuff like that. Everything gets cut off if all of a sudden they have a crisis. Well, no, China got back on their feet pretty damn quickly. I think actually it's shown the opposite, if anything. So driving on the other side of the road, definitely, I was super nervous about it when I got my car, first of all. So it's a Hong Kong car. and then it gets a plate on it, which can come across to Shenzhen. So I went over to Thailand actually before I got my car, and I did some driving there just to kind of get used to it and stuff like that. But there's some challenges when you come across, on your driving in Shenzhen, which is left-hand drive with a right-hand drive car, because you can imagine as you're turning left, you can't really see around the corner. You can't see around the other cars that are turning left on the other side of the road. And there have been a couple times, I think once or twice I went down the road the wrong way or something like that, or almost. But overall, it was a lot easier than I expected. I was way more nervous than I needed to be about it, but maybe that's a good thing because it kind of kept me alert, and maybe that's exactly why I didn't make too many mistakes. But it's definitely a challenge, yeah.
I just want to show you another clip here, and this just shows you the magnitude of of how how amazing and the infrastructure this is. And just have a look at this cargo ship going under one of the bridges here.
Oh yeah, look at the size of that ship. And that's further away than the bridge, so that's really a massive. So this is still on the Hong Kong side, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a beautiful shot. A lot of there's a guy in Hong Kong, Li Kaixing. He owned the port, if I understand correctly, on the Shenzhen side, also in Yantian. That port is pretty big. I've shipped some stuff out from there before, and I've been over there. And there's an interesting story about him. I don't know how true it is or not, but I heard it from the person who built the tunnel. So there used to be a tunnel that went from the Shenzhen main area out to the Yantian port, and it had to be cut through a mountain. Shenzhen government didn't have much money at that time, so Li Kaixing built this tunnel. And afterwards, when it was a toll tunnel, and he was collecting tolls for anybody who went through that tunnel. I mean, anybody who wanted to go to Huizhou or any of these other places, they went through that tunnel. It was the most direct way. It was an amazingly located tunnel. But he made all of his money. He made all of his money back from that, and then some. And then so the Shenzhen government came along and said, "All right, so we want to buy it back because we want to make it free to the public." They're always looking at ways to kind of just improve, the situation, or, whether they said, okay, this guy's made enough money, we'll pay him for it. We'll pay him for the tunnel. And so he says, no, I'm not interested. I'm not interested to sell it. And they're like negotiating, they're like, well, just, name your price. What do you want? He says, no. Because he was making a lot of money from that tunnel. And then so the Shenzhen government decides, says, oh, well, you know what? We've got money now. So they built another tunnel right beside his and made it free. And then again, this is like what I've just heard through, social conversations and stuff like that. So take it with a grain of salt. I know the person who built the other tunnel, it was their mother's company. And then afterwards, he's like, nobody used this tunnel. So then he came back to the Shenzhen government. He's like, all right, okay, I'll sell it to you guys. He's like, yeah, sure, but the price has gone down a lot now, and so they bought it off of him, and now his tunnel is going in one direction, traffic, and the other tunnel that they built is coming in the other direction. So I mean, take it for what you will. There's a lot of people that are unhappy with that kind of a thing, but definitely, there's a situation here where it's not these kind of business elites that are really running cities and deciding what's going to happen to the infrastructure and things like that. But I found that to be an interesting story.
Let's have a look at from port level now. Just to, as you've seen it from the, the bird's eye view, you kind of think, oh, okay, a few containers, but let's have a look at it a little bit closer in a bird's eye view and how massive. This is just one section of the port here. So it just shows you, I've always said that it's one of the quietest, busiest places in the world. You can just hear the
busiest places.
Yeah, you can hear the clinking of the containers, but there's more action going on in those containers to serve the rest of the world. It's amazing.
Yeah. No.
But that just shows you, and look at the different sizes of the cargo ships there. You see? So, I mean, these are just massive.
Yeah, no, they're... Are you still hearing me come through okay here? I think I'm lagging a bit on my side. Okay, all right.
Yeah, no problem. So we're going to go back up now to the let's cover the bridge now, the Hong Kong. You can talk about this bridge. I'll put this little clip up here on the screen so we can have a look at that. Does that work for us? You see that clip?
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look at that.
Yeah, now this is a mega bridge. Is this now one of the longest sea bridges in the world? I believe, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
And
Or
expensive
the
as hell. I think 15 to 20 billion. I think last time
Yep.
calculations were made. So
Yeah, I know it's huge. A part of it goes under the seabed, under the tunnel there. And I mean, when this was announced and as it was being built, it did a lot for the property prices in Zhuhai too. Like a lot of people were speculating, and I mean, it's going to connect. It's going to connect Zhuhai to Hong Kong in a way that Shenzhen has been connected for so long. And then obviously it splits off going to Macau on the bottom there. Now, my car, actually, I received a note in the mail from the Hong Kong government saying that I could use my car, my license plate, for 1 year to go across that bridge also. So they were going to let me use it. And I was really looking forward to it, and I wanted to do a video, and I just never got around to it. And then all this stuff happened, and then, I don't know if they'll extend it or not, but I was really looking forward to drive across this bridge. So you can drive across to Zhuhai, and then you can drive into Zhuhai. But from what I understand, when you drive over to the Macau side, you can't actually drive into Macau City. There's a big parking lot there, and you can park there, and then you just continue by whatever other transportation method from there. I would imagine, I don't know the details exactly of how it works. I know that that's what the case is for Hong Kong cars. But there are Macau cars that are on the streets in Macau. So I don't know if they were going across the bridge, there'd be a separate kind of an entry for them where they can drive into Macau as normal. But you can imagine they don't want too many cars on the streets there because Macau is a very, very small place with very small Portuguese-style streets and things like that.
the other interesting point is that if you look at this photo, and I'll just take it off the screen now, but logistic wise, also if we look at, you're leaving Hong Kong, so you're leaving a special SAR. You've got Shenzhen, which is a special economic zone. Then you've got Macau. So you're going through all sorts of different laws, different regulations, different probably some customs issues, some border kind of issues, and I mean, just to let some of the audience know that in Vancouver we could say we could surf, ski, and what was the other one? Surf, ski, and there was the 3 S's. Surf, ski, and swim in one day in Vancouver.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So I mean, in this area, you could pretty much go shopping for your warehouse, head into Hong Kong, and do everything that you want, and then go gambling in Macau probably in one day. And I mean, and probably get into some mountain hiking while you're at it there. So I mean, it's amazing how they've put this together. Really, it's extraordinary how they've done that. And
right.
My impression is that when they were building this bridge, I just thought it was going to take forever to build, but they got it done. Let's have a look at. I'm going to play that. You want to play that first clip of the bridge there, the Hong Kong bridge, and just show them?
Yeah, sure. Let's pull that
water
up here,
goes over. Let's look at this. Look at this. Oh wow!
Is it showing up on your screen there?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Oh, now I see it. Yeah, I mean, look, that's just majestic. I mean, that's spectacular.
Yeah, and it's amazing at the amount of not just the cost, but the determination to get these bold projects done. And other countries want to do these infrastructure projects, but they have their own spending and their own budgets, and and it does make sense why these things are happening, and in China.
I think, yeah, I think the political process really gets in the way also, obviously, because, 4 years later, a new administration could potentially scrap any infrastructure projects that the previous administration did, whether it be vindictively or because, as we've seen recently, or because they genuinely believe it's not a good use of money. And that's why we've gotten in a situation in Canada. If they say there's going to be some sort of a project or a new road or a new high-speed rail or something, we don't. We kind of take it with a grain of salt, and we say, we'll believe it when we see it. But here, they say we're going to do this by this date. You more or less, it's going to get done. The Shenzhen wanted to connect to this bridge also. They wanted a piece that came up from Shenzhen to connect, but for whatever reason they were excluded from that. But they have their own bridge that they're building over to. It lands. I don't think it lands in. Does it land in Zhuhai or Zhongshan? Some of our viewers here might know, but just past the airport there, I can already see. There's a highway along the coast here called the S3 Highway, which is a beautiful highway. It goes past the Shenzhen airport, right along the coast, and you can see every day just dump truck after dump truck going on. It's kind of annoying if you don't have the ETC, which is the automatic thing to go through the toll booth. You got to line up behind all these dump trucks trying to get on the highway. It's very, very busy, but they're moving. And they're doing it. They're going to get it done.
Has the ferries been impacted a lot, or have they had to scale down jobs and stuff in the ferries that used to take you from Hong Kong to Macau? When I was in Macau a few years ago.
Yep.
Sorry, Daniel. So much stuff to say today, guys, because it just comes, off the top of my head. When I was in Macau a few years ago, it was a very popular way to get to Hong Kong. They were promoting it a lot. Now that the bridge has come in, does that get impacted, or do people still like actually taking the ferry ride over?
I did that. I did the ferry ride around when was it? It must have been March. And for sure they've been impacted. It was completely dead there. I did a live stream from the terminal on the Shenzhen side.
I remember that.
Let me switch back to my other camera. I got a little bit ahead of myself. I thought my cam link here was giving me problems all before we got set up. And now,
no biggie.
I got a little bit overconfident.
Let's show them the clip 2 that we got ready to go here. This is beautiful. Tell us what this is, Daniel.
Okay, let's see here. Is it? It always is showing up a little bit late on my side. Is it playing on your side?
Yeah, it's playing.
Okay, got to give it a second to catch up. For some reason, it's showing later on my. Oh, so this must be. Okay, so this is coming into the Macau side. So I might be seeing this image a little bit more delayed than you are, but there must be some sort of a parking lot near there that I was talking about that they go into.
Yeah.
And of course, the bridges. The bridges kind of split off here. Now, I'm not actually 100% sure if that is the when you loaded this clip. This said this was the piece from the Shenzhen, the Hong Kong Zhuhai Bridge.
Well, if you see, there's 3 in this shot here. Actually, 4 and 5 in this shot. We just can't see in the distance there, so it is covering it. Let's go. I think clip 5 might be a little bit better for us if we look at clip 5. Just so you know, guys, we loaded a lot of stuff. So we've loaded a lot of stuff now. This is kind of like an evening shot of the bridge. It should be coming up on your screen any second now, Daniel.
Yeah, I'm seeing it now with the sun over the. Look at the reflection on the water too. That's something. Let me see here. I might have to connect to another router here in a second, but
sure.
So far, it's okay. So somebody asked also while we're here on how come you require a special permit or plate to travel between cities or provinces? You don't need a special plate to travel between provinces, but from mainland China to Hong Kong, you need one. It's 2 completely different systems. You drive on the different side of the road. So it's almost like entering a different country in many ways. For traveling across to other provinces, you don't need a permit. There are some restrictions in specific cities where you may not, with an outside license plate, you're not allowed to drive between certain hours, usually surrounding rush hour, in cities to kind of control the traffic during that time. Shenzhen has that rule also, between certain hours or on certain roads. Outside license plates can't travel on the roads, but
Calibre Wings, thank you very much for moderating for us today. I really appreciate that, and you're on Daniel's channel as well, so I really appreciate that. I see by your comments that you do miss Hong Kong. Hopefully we're not torturing you too much showing you this this footage. I've got another shot here, Daniel. I'm going to just bring it up on the screen here.
Yeah, you load them because mine has quite a delay. So you click them in.
Yeah, sure. Okay. And we'll stay on the bridges here right after that because I've got some, some really cool shots of some pretty amazing bridges that we have to look at. We definitely got to look at, that's for sure. There's another shot of it. There. I mean, this bridge is, like we were taking last estimates, depending what the US dollar is doing today, but anywhere from 15 to $20 billion. And I know one section, somebody said in one of my videos, Alex, you said it's 1.5 billion. I was just talking about the span part of it, the, where it goes higher up and higher level. There was a certain section that was actually just the bridge itself. The one section will cost them, $1.5 billion just to do that. So it's
Right.
Extraordinary architecture. This is due in part because there is a goal here, and I'll just give the audience just a little bit of an understanding of how infrastructure does change people's lives, change logistics. If, for example, in Canada, I would normally, if I was going to go see my mother, I'd have a few options. One would get to the airport. You drive to the airport. It's an hour and a half security. You got to be there. Then you get on the plane. You fly maybe 1 hour flight. Then you get off the plane, grab your luggage, get into the car. Round, it's about 4 or 5 hours. Well, if you put a bullet train from where I lived and where my mother lived, I could get on that bullet train and say, hey, Mom, let's meet halfway. See you in an hour and let's have lunch.
Yeah.
And that puts it really in perspective on why this infrastructure is so important. It's also very important because if you're a factory or if you have goods that need to be shipped, let's use other countries for example. In the United Kingdom, you'd have to load them onto a lorry. Then the lorry would then have to go down to the container port. Then the container port, it takes so long to get through these things. And since we only have a single rail track, which in Canada, you have to kind of move the rail cars over to the side to let the other one pass in both directions. I mean, this really causes a problem for logistics. And then you got this government red tape. So imagine if everything was connected, which it is here. I mean, it's, I did that big cargo edition video of mine. It just shows you trucks drop off the goods, they're onto the ship, and they're off and rolling right away. It's
Right.
not like waiting half a day for them to get across the country. Sound familiar?
Yeah. Yeah, seriously.
I'm going to pull up a cool bridge. Now, this bridge is called the Douge Beige Pangian Bridge. And this is quite an amazing bridge here. This has to be one of the most beautiful bridges I've seen. If you can see off into the distance, you see the roads there kind of spiraling down the mountains.
Still hasn't popped up on my screen
Yeah.
yet. But
Okay, it'll come up there. Now, the distance from top to bottom on this thing, I was watching can't remember the Jeremy Clarkson show. They were telling us that you could put two of the Shard buildings that are in the UK underneath this, stacked on top of each other. That's how high it is.
Wow. Oh.
But
unfortunately, it's not coming up. I'm going to, if you keep talking about some of this footage,
no problem.
I'm going to try to change my connection here. You might lose me for a quick second.
Pop in anytime, Daniel. I'll keep it going here.
Okay, sounds good. Give me 1 second.
Yes, so this is quite a beautiful looking bridge. Now let's go back to guys. We'll get the screen figured out here in a second here, as Dan. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. We clicked off, but we're going to be back on the screen any second. Daniel, I think, is back. So great. All right. So just showing some Shanghai buildings here. I remember 2 years ago having tea and a bit of afternoon wine looking at this beautiful building from, they called it the bottle opener building. Do you know what one I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know the one. I know the one you're talking about. Yeah.
I've actually got that clip here. Let me find it, and we're going to roll it after this. Can the audience hear us? Can you guys? Yeah. Oh, you can still hear us. Okay, great. So yeah, we're both back. We're sorting out some back end issues. All right. So that's the Pudong area. Now I'm going to go to the the Shanghai 1 building. Let's have a look at this, and then we'll click back to some other stuff, and I'll let Daniel take over from here. So have a look at this clip, guys. Just take this in. This is absolutely beautiful.
Look at that shot. So that drone actually went through that section to get this shot. You see the people walking up there on the top too. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And that is one of my favorite buildings, actually. I've got a lot of buildings I like, but that is, I would say, definitely my top 5. And thank you guys for sticking around while we had some back end stuff, but we're back. And Daniel, let's dive into some other stuff here. Are you ready?
Yeah, all right. Let's see what we've got. Let's move to a different region here. We're along the coast. You've got a couple of stuff here. It looks like you've got a couple of clips loaded from Chengdu here.
Oh yeah, let's go to Chengdu.
Yeah, so
you do your stuff on Chengdu, and I've got some stuff to end Chengdu. Some cool stuff when I was there. Fire away there. I think. Yep.
All right. So we've got. Okay. Yeah. This is into the city coming in. I mean, Chengdu is a beautiful city. It's one of my favorite cities. It's really hard to choose one specific favorite city. But the thing that's great about this city is it's such a young and vibrant city. You'd be amazed, like the kind of young kind of culture stuff, craft beer, craft coffee, handmade coffees and all this specialty stuff. It thrives in Chengdu. A lot of people think these kinds of things would come to Shanghai first, but in so many ways, Chengdu is ahead of Shanghai in a lot of this stuff. Bringing in like this new roasteries and new technology and things like that, miles ahead. The number of craft beer breweries there, I mean, a lot of you guys know I'm into craft beer, is pretty amazing as well. There's an American guy who's opened up a brewery there called Wild West, also making amazing beer. There's a local Chengdu guy named his name is Geezer, actually, and he's one of the OGs in Chengdu, making some really awesome stuff as well. So for kind of new kind of stuff, trendy things, Chengdu is a really great city.
Steely Tank made a comment that Chengdu is not young. It's 3,500 years old, Daniel.
Yes. Well, from a technical standpoint, yeah.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
And, the other thing that I wanted to say when I was in Chengdu, the quality of the accommodations there is amazing. The St. Regis just recently opened up a hotel there. We stayed there for a weekend. And once again, that really said to me, they know what they're doing when it comes to high-end hotels, definitely in this area, and because it's not far from actually Chongqing, so this is a very, very populated area. And once again, infrastructure plays an important part. I mean, they're both they have high-speed rail between each cities.
Yeah. Do you have? I mean, we're not going to move on to Chongqing yet, but do you have Chongqing clips loaded in here as well?
Oh yeah, of course I got Chongqing clips loaded.
Oh, beautiful!
I'm going to play this building for you, and I think you. Let's have a look. Do you know much about this building? I'm just going to pull up the thing. It's called the New Century Global Center.
I might know it by visually, but
okay, so
by the name.
basically, this is it's a big structure. It's massive. I think it's like 400,000 square meters. It's just devoted to shopping, houses, offices, conference rooms, university complex. They call it the New Century Global Center. If you go to Chongqing, you will see this place.
Chengdu. We're still in Chengdu. Yeah.
Stand corrected. If you go to Chengdu, you will definitely see it. I'll pull it up here. Here we go.
Oh, okay.
And this is the New Century Global Center. And it opened. Part of it started open in 2013, but it's also centrally located on line 1 of the Chengdu Metro. So everything kind of comes into there. The new Intercontinental Hotel is there as well. It's got I think over 1,000 rooms there. Last I checked. So I mean, Steely, thank you. Steely saying that Chongqing and Chengdu is just 1 hour by high-speed rail.
Yeah, it's very close. It's very close. I made the trip quite a few times. I've driven to Chongqing three times from Shenzhen, which is quite a trek. But sometimes when I go to Chengdu from there, I just jump on the high-speed rail. You can't beat it. I mean, it's like so many times faster, of course. And we'll get to some Chongqing footage because that is an amazing city as well. But
quick question for you, Daniel. What is the tallest building in China?
I think it's still in Shanghai, if I'm not mistaken. Some
Shanghai
of our viewers
1.
can correct. Yeah, because I know that there was the Ping An Tower in Shenzhen was supposed to be the tallest, and then at the last moment, they said that there was some sort of a flight path or something like that they couldn't go higher. There were some people who, and there's nothing to back this up, but there were some people who felt like probably the guys in Shanghai pulled some strings and said, we can't be dethroned, come up with some sort of an excuse. So they couldn't put that final tower up to I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not, but as far as I know, and we'll probably see it come through in the comments, Shanghai Tower, Arthur Larson mentioned, 632 meters. So the Ping An building was supposed to be taller than that. But yeah. What are you loading up here now?
This is the Panda Tower in Chongqing, TV tower there. We're just going to scroll back from it a bit
we're
here.
in Chongqing now,
Chengdu. Sorry, guys.
Chengdu.
You can understand why I keep saying Chongqing. I think you guys know why. I put about 40 videos up on my channel of it.
Yeah.
But this is also quite an amazing icon, I think, of Chengdu as well. But you can see this at night. It looks absolutely spectacular. All LED lit up, and that's the beauty. Some of these cities at night, you think that these are, I don't want to use that word concrete jungle. We get that a lot in the West, but at night, these cities really, really come alive. There's another area I'm going to show you in Chengdu, and let's talk about the panda bears. And I'm not sure if the audience really knows about this, but here's Chengdu's panda base. And I think most of the world's pandas come from here. I would say most of the majority of the pandas, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here in the chats, but when I was there with my wife a couple of years ago, they said, okay, there's a couple places you can go to check pandas out. One is very, very expensive. You get to hold a panda. And then one you just go to and you pay a small entrance fee. And we went to that one. Actually, we got the wrong directions or something. We ended up at the lower priced one, and it was fantastic. You got to see baby pandas and everything. And this whole area, you can see, this is it's called the Panda Center. I think it's a research center as well.
Right.
And, it covers quite a large area, and then as well as the zoo. So there's a lot more affordable ways. This was, I think, one of the more expensive if you wanted a hands-on kind of hold the panda kind of thing like that. And just got some other footage of the pandas in the park here and stuff like that. Just kind of relaxing and chilling out. Yeah, there's a little bit more footage for you guys. All right. So, do I have any more Chengdu? I got one more clip if you want to have a look at it, Daniel.
Yeah, let's do that, and I'll answer one slightly unrelated question that I forgot to get to on Hong Kong while we're playing that. Somebody did ask if I have to switch cars when I cross over to Hong Kong. I don't know. You drive the car. It's a Hong Kong car that I drive on both sides. There are some China cars that go across also that have a dual license plate in the other direction. But no, I don't have to switch cars. But yeah. Oh, this is I've been around this area. This is
Sino Ocean Taiku Li Chengdu, something like that. It's
yeah. It's pretty new,
big development.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you were talking about when you were saying that they got some trendy new coffee places going on down there. A lot of universities as well in the city as well.
Yeah, they've got a Man Coffee there also. I don't know if it's still open. I don't know how it could be sustainable, but it was massive. It was like the size of a train station. And they've got a huge roastery component in there, it was really something. But all kinds of stuff like that you get to see in Chengdu. But if you don't have any other Chengdu stuff, let's move on to Chongqing, because you know what, from a visual point of view, it's pretty hard to beat. Pretty hard to beat Chongqing, especially with those night shots that you were talking about.
Yeah. Before we go there, let's say we're imagining this. We're driving on the highways to Chengdu. Tell us about toll booths. I'm going to bring up a toll booth clip here and tell us about toll booths and how they work.
Yeah, so I mean, toll booths usually there's a lot of people. They have a ETC. It's called the ETC electronic. I don't know what it actually stands for, but you put it in your car and then you can go through the automated toll booth sections. If you don't, you go through the section with a teller. And usually that was when you had to kind of keep a lot of cash with you. But now all of the toll booths accept WeChat Pay. So you can just, when you're going through, you just show them your WeChat QR code. They scan it on your phone and you pay and you go through it. So it's pretty convenient now. But for the most part, I've been using ETC. I think in the beginning, in the early stages, the ETC would be specific to provinces, if I remember correctly, early on. Where, if you had a Guangdong system, ETC, once you went out to like Jiangxi or something like that, you couldn't use it anymore. But everything's connected now. Everything's connected all the way through. So pretty convenient.
We're going to pull up some charging ports here as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you see these. Yeah, you see these everywhere. Oh, so I've got two different responses here. ETC stands for electric toll collection, and another person said electronic teller card. There's a few different possibilities there. Yeah, lots of charging stations all over the place opening up. I don't have an electric car, but the back batteries in my RV need charging, and so I will find stations like this. But for the most part, in parking garages, in all of the major kind of buildings here, all the residential buildings, they've got like a section underground where you can charge your cars also, like specific spots. So very, very convenient. Now you're seeing a lot of electric cars on the road. Of course, in Shenzhen, the buses have all been changed to electric now, the local buses. Now the dump trucks are being changed to electric, believe it or not. These I mean, and I love it because in the buses before they went electric, they were really noisy. And you can imagine with the dump trucks going around how noisy they are. The electric ones just it's like magic. You imagine these massive things just being powered by a electric motor. At least to me, it's quite spectacular. Yeah, you get some really. Yep. Go ahead.
On my third trip to Shenzhen, I really noticed the air quality improved as they brought in that the new bus fleet that they brought in a few years ago. I noticed the air quality did improve, at least because that was my third trip there. I've noticed the air quality did change. Probably not just because of the buses, but I mean, just with the whole program. I remember my last trip there. I videotaped it. Just plants after plants, trees after trees. They were just planting and planting and planting, and to say that there's no environmental focus. I completely disagree with that. I see it everywhere.
Yeah, go ahead.
Germany announced their first all-powered, electric-powered RV. Are we going to see that in China?
There are some, yeah. There are some.
Okay.
Actually, on one of my videos, one of my friends who builds RVs in Dongguan, he's already made one. Um, and they are. To be honest, for me, I'm still a little bit nervous with them. I mean, batteries are pretty dangerous things. And to be like, if you're living in the RV and stuff like that, maybe I'm just, potentially these batteries are already much safer than they used to be. But I just still feel a little bit nervous about it, sleeping on top of, massive packs of batteries. But the person who took delivery on that one, that electric one, they're pretty happy with it so far. But they definitely, they already have them here. That's for sure. Yeah.
People are asking me when I'm coming back to China. It's I can actually go to China anytime here, but the problem is that with the borders here in Southeast Asia, getting back into Thailand is right now we've been shut down. Our borders have been shut down since March. No one in, pretty much no one out. We're starting to see a lot of other countries go through that at the moment. Even my own country is looking at actually restricting outgoing travel as well. So we're in for a little bit more bumpy ride here over the next few months, but I think we will get through that. No problem. Where should we go now, Daniel?
Well, definitely to Chongqing. We were just in Chengdu there.
Okay.
So let's
fire
over
up
to
some
Chongqing.
So guys, just, Chongqing, like anytime I put up a video on Chongqing, I'm always dealt with, hey, wait a minute, you're saying it's a city of 30 million. It's not really a city of 30 million. That's in the province. And when you go to Chongqing, you'll really start to understand what I mean by where do you draw the line on where this city ends. It just keeps going and going and going and going and going. And as I was telling you earlier, while you were fixing your camera there, Daniel, that between, I think it was 2014 to 2019, $600 billion was spent on infrastructure just in that area. They've got some of the largest single monorail lines in the world. Let's have a look. I'm just going to play a clip here on Chongqing. So this just shows you the vastness. All these buildings at night actually light up. That red building below was a very beautiful art museum, as well as we'll go here. That's the hotel, similar to the one in Singapore. Same group. It's about $5 billion to build that one. And the sprawling motorways, remember 14,500 bridges around. There's the monorail, and that's not an error where this thing goes in the middle of the building. That was built that way. And there are sound buffers that go into that building there to get rid of the noise, just like we got in our studios. But that's me there standing under it. Just kind of pointing up, saying that, it wasn't a mistake. They did that intentionally. That's at the Liziba station in Chongqing. Very famous, actually, even for local and people that visit the city that live in China. That I think that's the Instagram point to get your picture taken to.
A lot of people there, yeah.
Yeah. And it's quite a large line. Just to let you know on the infrastructure, that monorail itself has, I think it was just under 3 million. Oh, I can't remember. It's massive, the amount of people that use it on a daily basis. This is the Twin River Bridge. We showed this clip before. Dual purpose bridge. All types of bridges, in the city there, just connecting. And as I was leaving, I identified at least another 6 or 7 bridges. And these are going over the Yangtze River as well. And you'll see, I don't know if I have one of my clips loaded, that it shows, when both rivers actually connect to each other, it shows you the different, water patterns and, soils patterns. It blends in. It looks really cool. This is you can see more traffic and twinned beside it. This is another bridge connecting the China high-speed rail as well. That's a beautiful shot coming over the bridge there. Just an absolutely fantastic city. I would say the population of pretty much my country. Here's a couple more clips. Here we've got Chongqing. There it gives you an idea what they do at night to the city. Lots of LED on the bridges, on the overpasses, in the buildings, on the boats. It lights up like this. This isn't a New Year shot. This is an everyday shot or every night shot.
Yeah,
and it's mesmerizing.
It's absolutely, it's spectacular to look at. I mean, with the different layers and everything like that, a bunch of them are talking about it being a 3D city in the comments. It really is, and it feels like when you're driving across these bridges and you're like entering Gotham City or something like that, some sort of a futuristic kind of a weird kind of a feel to it where it just blows you away, and you don't know how to process it all. And with all these buildings built on different layers also, when you ask for directions there, I noticed something really interesting was when you ask for directions, and if somebody points in the direction of where you need to go for whatever you're looking for, they'll have a gradient in their arm. They have also a 3D approach to where that you've got to go. So it's like up in that direction, and their hand is up and off to the side. It's really quite remarkable, and I've been into some of the buildings there where you walk in on the first floor of the building, and then you go upstairs, whatever, you go to the 5th floor or something like that, and then you exit from the other side of the building, and you're back on the first floor again, because on the back side of the building it's the 1st floor on the 5th floor from where you entered in on. It's just it's really weird how everything is put together.
I remember Nico did a video about that, and she was showing that she was going to certain floors, and a lot of the other YouTubers that had visited the cities, the Barretts and Jerry Good, they were just showing the amount of climbing that you had to go throughout these cities. It's truly amazing, and Matt Gio Nations did some great drone footage as well from his channel. This is an area that used to be the old port area down in Chongqing there. That's my wife there. We're actually talking. She was encouraging me to sing in front of a local crowd there. So I got the old karaoke mic out that night and just let some songs go off and decided to do it. What we're looking at now, this clip here is a fantastic boardwalk, beautiful boardwalk of places to dine. The Sheraton has a fantastic hotel. That's it there. That actually got flooded just recently with the floods in the summertime there. But they sauntered on. There was a question, Daniel, not really related, but they were asking what is one of the best electric cars to purchase that you can...
I mean, I don't know. I know that BYD has been at it for a while, and so I would imagine that would give them a pretty good edge. I saw China Teacher brand. He rebranded his channel
for Mube.
Yeah. He has a Neo. He has a Neo, which looks really good. I've heard good things about that too. They've got great customer service as well. But I don't know. I haven't really looked into it. We've got a minivan. There's nothing really in the. I don't know. Actually, there might be some EV minivans now. But based on our driving and everything like that, I'm pretty happy with the vehicles we have.
Don't look now. That's on stage. Don't look now.
Give me. I'm going to take 10 seconds here. You keep kind of showing some of these clips. Give me a second.
Sure. And that's the city lit up at night. Guys, I just can't tell you. It's so infectious. It just gets you. It's really hard to explain a city like Chongqing. I know I keep going back to Chongqing and mentioning it over and over again, but that's what China does to you when you travel to it. It gives you this thirst to continually want more. And if you guys have been watching my videos that I've been putting out over the last, I think, 2 to 3 months, we did a series with Cyrus Jensen. We covered Shenzhen. We did Shanghai, I think, Chongqing, Beijing, and I can't remember, Guangzhou. And we covered that. And I tell you, just when you think that you've seen it all, another hour away is another new world. And that's, why I continually call it Planet China. Because I really feel I'm on an absolute planet, another planet when I'm going there. So just to show you a little bit more highway stuff. I know that we want to show you kind of some of the highways that you can expect when you're going in China. I mean, just look at the infrastructure on this. I mean, these things they defy logic sometimes, Daniel. You know, some of these things, it's absolutely amazing. We'll get Daniel back here in a second. I think he's just working out a couple of things here on his feed. He might have been delayed there, but we'll get him back. I'm going to continue to show you guys some of the stuff here. Yeah, somebody said that Chongqing is the most populated city in the world. Just reading some of the comments here. Thank you. Somebody says I need to get back singing on the stage. I'll definitely try that. Daniel's coming back. Do not worry. Love the light show at the Bund in Shanghai. I totally agree on that. Do I have some of that footage? I will definitely look to see if I've got some of that footage. I'm going to then take you guys down to, well, let's have a look here. Where else are we going? We got some more scenery stuff to show you guys, if you're cool with that. Hopefully we're not taking too much of your time up. Calibre Wings, you know this building. Have a look at this one here. Maybe you can tell the audience about this building. I think Daniel's back.
I think I'm back now, yeah.
Does this building look familiar?
Let me see. Hold on one second. Still running a bit slow on my side.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, the screen is just catching up. Where are we now?
We're in Shanghai. The Pearl. The Pearl in Shanghai. Anybody can...
oh, yeah, there we go. There we go. I can see
yeah.
it. Yep. Yep. I see it on screen. Yeah, Shanghai's a great city. It's very international city.
Yeah, that's one thing I want to say. You get these pockets of, we'll call it Western pockets, okay, where you got the Starbucks, the hotels. It's kind of like your own little comfort zone inside a city, and that's I think what put me on to. That's what put me on to I think Chongqing, is that I remember arriving at Chongqing at around, well, I don't know if your audience knows this story, but my wife said to me last year, she didn't want to have Christmas in Bangkok. I said, well, honey, where do you want to have it? She said, I want to arrive Christmas Eve in China. I said, okay, where? And she said, well, I don't know. What's that big city that everyone's talking about the size of Canada's population? And I said, I couldn't spell it at the time. Pardon me on that. And I went into my computer and I came out and I said, Chongqing? And she said, yeah, that's the one. Let's do that. I said, okay. So we booked Chongqing, and about 4 days later, we're running to the airport on the 24th of December, and we decided to fly into Chongqing. We had no maps, no China Mobile at that time because, we couldn't get, we were just getting up to speed with the system. So as soon as we got to the airport, my roaming didn't work. I guess I didn't activate my roaming, so I couldn't use any of the maps. And it was the best way to approach these cities. I think it's the most fantastic way is to actually get lost in these cities.
Oh, it's so hard to do these days. I mean, I remember when I was driving around in like Philadelphia and all these places, like, you had to buy the local maps, right? Or you'd buy the books where and then you'd follow the map down saying, okay, go to page A8 or whatever, But so that at that time when it was so much more difficult, you couldn't just pull out your phone and say navigate to this place. You're more likely to just drive around. And I know we're talking about China, but I gotta give you this example of what happens when you just randomly kind of drive around. I remember I was in Philadelphia, and we're driving around, and then I by mistake see the stairs that Rocky ran up, in the movie, and I'm like, oh, we gotta park here, and then so we gotta go up and get our pictures here. So I park the car. then there's these guys that come up to the car. They look pretty shady. They're like, "Oh, you got to pay to park here." And I'm like, "What? This is a public parking." He's like, "No, trust me, you got to pay to park here." And so I basically figured out my car is going to have like its tires slashed or something like that if I don't pay them. So I'm like, "How much?" He's like, "Oh, $5 is okay."
Yeah, it's not a place that in Chongqing. And
then we go up and we take.
Go ahead, Daniel. I thought I lost you there for a minute, but you're back.
Yeah. So yeah. Oh,
keep going.
Oh, yeah. Now, what part of my story did you get to before I got cut off?
I think we got cut off on you were talking about paying for. You said $5.
Oh, yeah. So it was like a protection fee so that they wouldn't slash my tires or something like that. These are problems I don't really have in China, but anyways, whatever. So I go up on the stairs, we take the pictures, and all of a sudden, like these people start pouring in, like, and sitting on the stairs. I'm like, what's going on? And then a truck pulls up. And perfectly that night, they had some sort of a festival in the city. That night, they were playing Rocky free to the public on the side of this truck. Like, how cool is that? You're sitting on the chairs that Rocky ran up, the stairs that Rocky ran up, and you're watching the movie. And they were doing this all around Philadelphia. All the famous movies that were filmed in their different neighborhoods. There was the what's the movie with Bruce Willis? The I See Dead People. The kid. I don't remember the name. Somebody in the comments has to know this. But yeah. They were playing that, whatever. They were playing that movie as well. But
I can't remember.
On to the main point. Yeah, on to the main point. I even remember the director's name. This night.
Sixth Sense. Somebody said Sixth Sense just now.
There we go. We got it all. There we go. We got it. They got it all coming through now. There we go. So it was. But now you have your phone and everything like that. So you put yourself in a situation in Chongqing where you could kind of relive that because you're like, well, my phone is useless now. I don't got anything loaded. Let's just wander around. That's amazing. I think we should deliberately put ourselves in that kind of a situation sometimes where you just explore a city in that way.
That's it. I mean, just I was saying to people, just when you think you've seen everything, something unfolds between your in front of your eyes. I want to show this building, and then we're going to go to Changsha after this, if you don't mind. Let's have a look at this building. I think that this is just something out of space. I mean, it's. I'm sure somebody in the audience is going to be able to identify it. This is a little bit of a test to the audience.
Yeah,
and I'm not going to tell anyone what this building is because it's in an upcoming video of mine, so I don't want to spoil it. But if somebody wants to say what it is in the video, they can. But it looks like something out of a Mars movie. So it's quite a interesting cool building. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. To kind of get on this. Somebody's. I'm sure somebody's going to put it in the comments. But the way you explored Chongqing and interacted with the locals would have been a great way to do it too. Especially if you then go on to do the same thing in Chengdu, because you get, even though these cities are so close to each other, if you really get to know people there. Now, I helped to launch a craft beer bar there, so I got a really deep understanding, kind of interacting with the employees and stuff like that, who are local Chongqing people. But you definitely get the sense that the people from Chongqing and people from Chengdu are two very, very different culturally. Chongqing is a little bit more, they just know, they're kind of more set in their ways. They know what they're like. They know what they like. This is what I've always liked, and this is what I'm always going to like. And they're kind of laid back. They're way more laid back, more easygoing, kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. It would be like maybe in Canada, how you describe the difference between like Toronto and Vancouver or something like that. Well, it's a little bit more high, with all of the insults flying back and forth aside.
How about Nova Scotia, Manitoba, and British Columbia?
Nova Scotia. When you say Nova Scotia, my Canadian accent's going to come out, eh? Oh, I can't hear that word Nova Scotia without my Canadian accent coming out, boy.
Let's go on to. I've got a clip here. And you probably be able to identify it. I'm just going to bring it up. It's of Changsha. Do you mind if I
Changsha, yeah.
pull up the
Yeah, sure, sure.
Changsha?
Just somebody was asking about craft beer brewery. Yeah, I had I opened up one with a partnership there, and it was Taps branded. It was in Jiangbei along the river there. So yeah, I had a craft beer bar there. Hired a bunch of staff. Kind of oversaw the whole thing. But that's gone back to them. I'm focusing on my own shops here. But yeah, so go ahead. Let's go. Let's go to Changsha. That's another city I've been to, which I really like as well, mostly for the food.
This is a beautiful clip. It's a very, very nice clip of Changsha area, showing a little bit of the CBD building area and stuff like that. Also, as well as these new art buildings, these art decadent kind of buildings that are opening up are just, breathtaking. And, there's a lot of care put into this stuff. I mean, it's not just something that they've slapped together. I mean, the Canadian Football League, I don't know if you watch Canadian football, but I watch Canadian football. And I was saying, the Canadian Football League has been closed in Canada. Why don't they just move it over to China and play a season over there in all the beautiful stadiums?
Yeah, seriously, that's a good idea.
They would probably get thousands of fans, and everybody would be happy that somebody's showing up.
It's a good, sports diplomacy also is really good, to bring people together as well. That's what the Olympics definitely does. At least supposed to do most of the time. That would be really great.
So where do you want to go? Do you want to go to? Should we go to Hanan, or do
you just have one clip of Changsha, or you have any more?
Oh, I've got this other one here.
There's a really famous food street. There's a really famous food street there where, like, one of the specialties from Chongqing is the stinky tofu. That's one thing that Changsha is actually famous for. And there's just one little food street where you can go and you've got to line up for it, basically. Really spicy. And quite good. I don't know that not everybody's going to like it, but I really enjoyed it. But let's see what other clips you have with Changsha before we move on.
Have you tried the Chongqing hot pot though? While you're in Chongqing, did you try the hot pot?
Yeah, of course, yeah. One of my closest friends here, he's a lawyer in Hong Kong. He's originally from Chongqing, and he makes the stuff in his home all the time as well. And I'm actually more. I like the snacks in Chongqing better than I do the hot pot. Like their barbecue. There's a place called there's a famous place called Zhouchen Kaonahua. So they do like barbecue stuff, but also one specialty they do there is a baked pig brains. And I know it sounds pretty kind of maybe off-putting to a lot of people, but don't knock it till you try it. It's like the Chinese frog wah, let me tell you. They wrap it up in this tin foil and they bake it. It's just I'm like, my mouth is already watering. We gotta move on.
Let's go to Hanan area, Yalong and stuff like that, and Sanya. Do you mind doing that?
Yeah, sure. Let's go.
All right. So I'm just going to pull up some clips. I'm not sure if you visited these areas, but I pulled some of them on some of the clips, so you can have a look at this one here.
Oh yeah, yeah. We used to go to Hainan every March when the kids were on their March break. We used to drive down there. Once you get to the port on the bottom of Guangdong there, and you drive onto a boat, and you travel across to Haikou, and then drive down to the southern area where this stuff is. We usually stayed in the Yalong Bay. But very nice. We've since, now we have our RV, we've since found some really nice places in Guangdong, so we might not really go to Hainan as much anymore because it's just a much longer drive, but it's a beautiful place to have a vacation.
Yeah, the water looks good, and I wanted to show you guys this. Look at some of these luxury villas. Each one of them has pools in the areas. Aren't they amazing? This is kind of taking after a little bit of the Maldives models. I think anybody that's seen my channel has seen my Maldives clips, but that's quite a nice development.
We have some. I don't know if you have the name of that is. Yeah, there's some people asking about the name of that statue. I believe it was a spiritual virtual. I don't know if it's see anybody else mention who it was. There was only one other person. Ken said the statue looks like his first wife, cold and stony, but I don't think it's your wife, Ken. Your first wife. I'm not sure. It could be, but I don't know if you have a caption there. I don't know what it is.
And there's quite a large airline that flies out of this area of China.
Yeah, well, I mean, Hainan Airlines is a massive airline,
and they've got a lot of new routes going into Canada, and I think soon the United States. And they're very good. They're very nice planes.
Somebody did reply. It's Guanyin. Guanyin. Exactly as I said. It seems like not all of my comments are coming through on the StreamYard, so I've got to quickly, once in a while, check over on my side. So apologies if I've been missing comments coming through on my channel.
Darren in China says, and thank you for coming into the show today, Darren. He's surprised that a lot of Russians go on holiday there. Well, I mean, when you're looking at the map, and that's a good question. The Russians, you got to remember how visas are working in this world. They can really bring a lot of tourism to your country if you get it right. For example, what Thailand decided to do a couple of years ago is they eliminated getting a visa, from a local embassy in Russia, so you could get it at the airport. Well, overnight, Russians started coming to Thailand. And once these countries start to, ease these visa restrictions, it's a massive boost to the area. So that could be what is driving maybe a lot of the Russians down there, as well as, as Daniel was talking earlier about the airline in this area. It's quite a big airline, and it probably connects to a lot of cities in Russia, Novosibirsk, Kursk, Vladivostok, all these, in Siberian parts of Russia. What are their choices? Thailand, China, Egypt, and Turkey is pretty much their destinations that they go to. And when you're seeing beautiful water like this, and I gotta say it again, going to China can be very affordable. Would you say that, Daniel? I mean, you think it's an affordable place to travel?
I mean, it is in the grander scheme of things. You've got some really nice options here and stuff like that. But I mean, if you were to compare it to Vietnam, Thailand, and stuff like that, it's pretty hard to compete. And then in growing up in Toronto, our vacation spots were down in the Caribbean. You got some amazing deals like in Cuba and stuff like that. So still, it's in these tourist kind of hot spots like Sanya and Yalong Bay, it's really difficult to get a really amazing kind of deal if you're comparing it to that. Or like I was saying in Toronto, when we're used to, you've got these vacations when you go down to like the Dominican Republic and Cuba and all these places where you get these all-inclusive packages, which are, all you can drink, all you can eat, activities and stuff like that. There isn't too much in terms of that here. There are a few places. You do have Club Med also that operates in China, but they're not really cheap places. I think, for exploring China, going into the inland areas, staying in some basic, 3-4 star local hotels and stuff like that, you can do pretty well. You can do pretty good in that regard. But for the touristy hotspots, you got to imagine, especially now this year, there's a lot of local domestic tourists going to these spots now, especially considering nobody's really leaving the country now during this particular time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Cuba. Kevin Law mentioned Cuba's good, but the food is not good. In the resorts, they're not that good. I would imagine the local food in the because we went out to the square and stuff like that, had some local food. There was some good stuff, but yeah, a lot of the as soon as it's an all-you-can-eat kind of vacation, you're not going to really expect too much from it.
This is a good point, and actually, they're right. Many Northern Chinese who can speak Russian moving there to do business, that also helps to build the friendly environment for Russians. Yeah, I mean, that is a very good point. So, that's another maybe that helps us understand. let's have a look here so we're going to go to, I'm going to actually let you introduce this to the audience. Do you see what areas you want to go to there, Daniel?
Let's see here. Brand. So we've got. Oh, let's go to. You talk just for. I just need another 5 seconds to just reset something here. You talk a little bit.
Problem.
I'm going to just quickly.
So just want to say thank you to the audience that's coming out today. Maniac Canadian, nice to see you here. Randy, thank you very much. Angel Wenzang, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. R3D, thank you very much for the compliment. I appreciate that. And thank you for Daniel's audience joining us today. If you're from my audience and you don't know about Daniel's channel, our moderators will put the links out. Vice versa. If you're Daniel's audience and you don't know about my content, give us both a subscription and hit the subscribe button down below there in the links below, and we'll get onto the show. We've got a few more things to show you. I think you guys got to stick around because we're saving some of the best for last year. That's for sure. So Daniel's just going to queue up, and thank you very much. I'm going to be doing a video coming up here next month to discuss about the footage, and I will answer all the questions in that video. Just to let you know, or let you the audience know, though, for every 3 to 5 minute video I put on my channel weekly, just in editing, researching the songs, it's about 50 hours of editing. To put a 3 to 4 minute video. So I had a lot of people, Daniel, ask me that, why I don't do 12-minute videos and 12-minute videos on cities. And that would take, a couple hundred hours to put together. I'm going to put some other stuff on the screen while you get your camera just sort of there, Daniel. I think you're back. Okay. Do you want to go to the area? Are you ready to go to this other area that we uploaded?
We're talking about. We've got some
have a look.
Sichuan. We've got some Lhasa.
Yeah. Let's go there. Let's have a look at that.
All right.
You want me to click, or you can click it?
Yeah, you can load up the clip there. So yeah.
All right. And this is probably some of the nicest stuff we're going to show you today here in the next 10 minutes here.
Oh, the Potala Palace. There we go. Yeah. I mean, I've been in there twice, and beautiful site. It takes a lot of maintenance also. This the white paint and the red paint is you've got all kinds of really interesting stuff they put into this. They put yogurt and these kinds of honey and all this kind of stuff that you would imagine would be a real insect attractant. But they put, I should have really looked it up beforehand. It's a kind of a flower they put into it, which acts as a natural insect repellent. So you're not getting bugs flying into it. But a beautiful.
Yeah, show it one more time here. Let's go one more time. This clip deserves to be shown twice.
Yes, absolutely. It's just as I've been in twice. Once just this past last year, and then the last time it must have been about 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. The first trip I went, the purpose was to go and do the Kora, it's called, around Kailash Mountain. So the Kora around Kailash Mountain, you basically do a circle, you walk around and up the side of the, not really onto the mountain, but it reaches really high heights. It reaches, I think it was 5,800 meters, which is like 19,000 feet, and it's a 54-kilometer hike. And most people do it over 2 or 3 days, but I had this really stupid idea to do it in one day. There were some guys on the trip who had done it before in 2 days, and they said, we want to do it in one this time. I said, yeah, okay, I'll come. And they were worried about me, but I did a lot of exercise beforehand in the 6 months beforehand, preparing. And the tour company that I was going with, because you've got to arrange it, foreigners going to Tibet, it's not so cut and dry. You got to apply for special permits and stuff like that. So I went through a tour company and I said that I want to walk around. I want to do the Kora around Kailash Mountain in one day. And they said no. Basically, they didn't want foreigners dying on their trip and then having that on their kind of record, because it is dangerous. It's a dangerous thing to do. There are people who die on it. But when I was there, the local guy. the local Tibetan guy, he was from Lhasa. I said, can we do one day? He says, yeah, if you want to do it, I can do it. I don't think he thought could really do it. So we did it halfway through, about 25 kilometers in. The rest of the crew, the ones who did it before, they had to quit. They were looking really rough. They had to be taken down. And then I ended up finishing it 17 and a half hours. The local Lhasa guy, he didn't even finish it. He quit in the last 5 kilometers. He had a guy come up on a motorcycle, and he says, "You wanna ride down?" And it was so tempting because it was just you're so exhausted. You're basically dragging your feet at that point. But I said, "No, I got to finish it. 5 more kilometers. Got to do it."
I think some of the audience is curious what you're really talking about. Like, what is so hard about this? And I think a lot of people aren't really familiar with the oxygen levels up at this part of the world. And I've watched other content creators that were filming videos up there just completely get knocked out. There was a girl that did a video, Where's Poppy? I think that was her name. And they had to bring up the oxygen tanks. They were overwhelmed. They just said, whoa, we don't know what really hit us. And I mean, that's, pretty serious. I'm just going to zip through these. Thank you very much, TNT. And thank you very much, R3D Powell. I appreciate that. And Narcoleptic Kitty, thank you for your awesome drone footage. You're welcome. Let's show the other stuff that, thank you very much again for that. Let's show the other part of this region. You see that clip there? I'm just going to play it. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, you go ahead.
It's Gyangze.
Let me see. Where is that on the...
So you go under Lhasa, and then you go down a couple, and you'll see it there. It's the town in the region there.
Tangula Mountains, or...
right beside it. You see it?
Yeah, Gyangze. I would imagine it's something like that. I might be. I've never been there. I've been to another place that's named Shigatse, which kind of looks the same. So that's why I'm assuming that's how you'd pronounce it. But yeah, go ahead. Yeah, why don't we run that? I'll go. There we go.
This is more footage from the area. So what we've decided to do is not just show you the main attraction, but just show you what else is going on in the autonomous region and stuff like that. I mean, it's very well. I mean, Daniel, how would you describe this if you're going there for the first time?
I mean, it's absolutely breathtaking. There's no way to really describe the scenery in Tibet. It's just epic. It's out of this world. I mean, you've seen some of the, a lot of people are really familiar with the scenery in, New Zealand now because of the Lord of the Rings, and it is epic. But this is just, I've never been to New Zealand. I have many friends from there, but I just feel like this here is next level stuff. Combined with the fact that you're so high up to begin with. I mean, Lhasa I think it's like 3,600 meters already. And then, so you can imagine 3,600 meters, a lot of people need oxygen as soon as they land there. So to describe what you were talking about, that hike that I went on, it goes up to 5,800 meters. So you can imagine how much more thin the air is up there. But when you're up that high and the atmosphere is so thin, and you look at the stars at night, it's just an out of this world experience. I was watching the stars out in front of a base camp, Everest base camp, or Chumalama. The people in China, they prefer to call it Chumalama, which is based on its original kind of local ethnic name. Everest is, of course, I believe it was coined by a British explorer. So they want to kind of bring it back to their roots, which is kind of funny too, because it was like when I was on the trip, people who had a more negative idea about Tibet, they were saying, China's trying to reinvent Everest's name? Like, what are they doing? And they're like, this is this kind of, disrespect to the culture. It's like, what? Hold on a second. This is based on the Tibetan local name. It's, you want to still call it the British name, the British invaders. So it's kind of really interesting. But amazing part of the life. Yeah.
I've got another road shot here, just in the area, just to give you an idea of how tricky it is for the highways and the roadways in that area.
Oh yeah, I mean the road builders. You know, there were some of my Twitter followers. Their father or grandfather, I can't remember which it was, built some of the roads that went to Lhasa, and those roads were made for transporting food and stuff like that, agricultural products. And a lot of people die. A lot of people die making these roads. It's a dangerous part of land. Obviously, there's the risk of falling rocks and everything like that. But working under those conditions, with that kind of UV light, that kind of lack of oxygen, it's a very, very difficult life for somebody who's not used to it. There's a lot of people also who say that people who go out to the really extreme areas, like the border patrol areas, which are way up, 5,000 meter kind of areas, once they live there for whatever, a couple of years, they can't really move back. They can't really, their body completely changes and adapts to the environment. And there's been stories of when people move back to lowland areas, they basically they end up passing away pretty quickly. Their life becomes shortened by quite a considerable amount. Yeah, I do have some videos of Lhasa visiting a friend's brewery, also the world's highest brewery. I do have a playlist. If you go to my channel and you look under playlist, I think there's only one playlist that's public, and that's my Tibet trip. And that was the recent one. That's not from my first journey. My first journey was done when I wasn't doing any vlogging whatsoever. So the second journey, I went with a media outlet and basically did some coverage and filled in some information from what I learned on the first trip. Overall, it was a really great trip, both of them.
Before we move on to another section here, I just want to show. I've had a lot of questions, a lot of people asking me about drone footage and what the best drone to get, and if you're new at it, I'll say this: if you want to get an easy drone, one that is, I guess certain countries have regulations, and you got to keep that in mind when you're traveling. That if it's over 250 grams, it's considered, it's got to follow under the same laws as like helicopters and airplanes. Just like in Thailand, we have to get 2 licenses for it. If it has a camera, you need a license. You got to get it through the local government bodies here. So I would recommend probably, Shenzhen's finest, DJI. This is the Mini. It's just a little guy there. And if you're suspect on, hey, is it, it's that's a tiny drone. Is it any good? Well, have a look at this latest footage out of the Maldives with it. And this is what this little 249-gram drone will get you for footage.
There's a new version of this one out too, right? This drone?
Yes, there is. You're right. It's a more advanced 4K version. Once again, I have never had any problems with DJI Hudson as well as another drone. But I will go into details about, how I collected this footage, got this footage in another video upcoming in a few weeks once I get through the request list of people that want certain areas covered. Let's go to the, I'm going to bring you now to, I think, a place that you're familiar with. Let's have a look here. Sorry, Daniel, I'm just going through these clips. We've got quite a few clips here. This is another high zone here. I think some of the viewers might be familiar with it. Everest Highway here as we're getting up towards this area of China. And once again,
I've been up
highway.
This road. I've been up this road, just winding all the way up. It's really, there was, I actually, this is the one stretch of highway where I had my GoPro on the fastened on the roof of the car, and it was set wrong, so I didn't get any of the footage from this part of the highway. I was so upset. But I still got some pretty good road footage. There's some pretty good road-only footage from Tibet. And I wish I loaded some of it onto the system here so we could have taken a look at some of it together. But it really, even though the camera can't really capture the gravity of what you're seeing with your own eyes there, the video still actually blows people away. Do cars need special gas in Tibet? No, for petrol it should be fine, but for diesel, yes, diesel. For the temperatures, at least, you can't use the same stuff that you're using down below. But also because of the way that the turbo diesels work, also a lot of the times it's not providing your engine with enough oxygen. And I was talking to somebody in Foshan the other day who has the same RV that I have, and which is also diesel. And they took it up to Tibet, and they said there were some hills they just couldn't get it up. I've heard of people readjusting the engine, readjusting the computer to adjust the airflow that's coming in, or something like that. Or just switching to manual shifting. But diesel has a pretty difficult time up there under regular circumstances, from what I understand.
So what would somebody do in that case? I mean, of a breakdown, I mean, you're kind of out in the middle of nowhere out there, aren't you?
Man, let me tell you, a lot of those places, like out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, Everest Base Camp has 4G. Like it's the whole place. I would say, I had two phones on me. I had one phone which was China Unicom, and I had another phone which was China Mobile, which was running my Hong Kong SIM card, but it was on the China Mobile network. Pretty much everywhere had China Mobile coverage. China Unicom was a little bit more shoddy,
right.
But there was always a connection, so you could call somebody. The guys that we spoke to who were at the one of the world's largest glacier, other than the North and South Pole, that's one of my videos too. The park rangers, they got lost. They got lost at one point, and there's no service out there on the ice fields. And they basically survived out there for 2 or 3 days before, by the time they could get back. Yeah, and you just got to hope you get out. They were lucky, but it could have been very different. So, base camp. There's a different stone that's in the actual base camp area. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I did a live stream from there. That shot, whoever took that shot. Oh yeah, so you see, that's what you usually see. So Mount Everest is behind those clouds. And the clouds always kind of gather around it. But we were so lucky that when we were there, the 2 or 3 days we were there, it was completely clear, crystal clear. We could see everything. It cleared just in time as we got there, and then it clouded back up as we were leaving.
It's amazing. Even the birds look tired.
It must be a tough job to fly up there. We flew our drones up at those kind of heights also, and it did all right. Actually, the DJI drones did all right. They were worried about it because of the how thin the air was. Is this the road to the actual to Everest? So Everest was closed for when we were there, so we didn't get this far up the road. I didn't get to go this far up. We just saw base camp from that stone area there. Now, base camp used to be further up where it's actually on the mountain, but they've moved it down to there.
Yeah, I mean, this is... let's move on to another clip here that you and I were looking at the other day here. I think you're familiar with this one.
Oh, yeah. That's there's a temple there. I believe it should be the world's highest temple, although maybe Nepal might be able to, somewhere in Nepal might be able to challenge this. I'm not sure. But yeah, we spent a couple of days just across the street from this. And I met a local Tibetan kid who walked up there from that road too. He spent all day walking up. Had an interesting chat with him also, talking about school and stuff like that. It was interesting to hear, like the school programs there are way more comprehensive than the rest of China, where pretty much everything is included. Your transportation to and from school, your books, your uniforms, like they don't have to pay anything out of pocket. And I think it's almost like a affirmative action kind of thing. Just you got to level up some areas to get them on board, and then also there's more likelihood that in those kinds of regions, like kind of the more outer regions away from the big cities, that some parents maybe don't see the need to send their kids to school. And the government really wants to encourage their kids to go to school with however they can, so that obviously when the kid is grown up, if he wants to go back to a nomadic life or whatever, that's totally up to them. That's fine. But one of the big things was when the meals were free. When they say all the meals are free at the school too, then the parents are like, well, we could save a lot of money, doing that. And
Mhm.
then so even the people who were reluctant, they're basically sending them to school for the free meals and stuff like that. Now these kinds of people that are living out in these areas, their lives are getting a lot better. They have internet connectivity. They have these programs that help them sell their products online to other areas of China and stuff like that. So it was really, really interesting trip to go a little bit deeper into
And the
talking to some of the
world
local
is
people.
getting, the world is getting connected, and we're starting to see these, some of the viewers here are seeing this footage for the first time, and we're saying, wow. But I mean, that is the beauty about, looking at the internet and being able to discover these places and travel to these places. I mean, more cities. I think I've been to 25 Chinese cities now in total. And it just amazes me, the beauty of this region. Now, of course, we travel to other parts of the world, but I mean, if you get to China and you spend a few months there, I mean, you're going to come back a changed person, I think, because a lot of the, like I was saying, we're not going to touch on anything political here today at all, but you don't really see any of this on many travel shows. If you're looking at Amazon and you want to do a travel show on Amazon, you're not going to see some of this stuff. It's just they're not going to play it.
Yeah, I don't know if you know. I don't know if you
me.
know. Just to quickly on that point, is the PBS did a documentary in China in collaboration with CGTN and showed the extreme poverty alleviation programs that were going on, and it was amazing. But you know what happened was they banned it off of TV. They removed it because it was too pro-China. Like, heaven forbid America sees how another country is lifting its people out of poverty while their own poverty rates are increasing. It was the most strange thing. But you're right, you don't see that kind of stuff. There's a very careful curation of what people get to see overseas, and it creates a very distorted picture of what life is really like in China. And then when you're here, you're right. If you actually come with an open mind and you actually look around by yourself and you see what's happening, or you go back to the same villages that you've gone to, over the course of a few years, like I have. I mean, you can't help but say, "Holy crap!" There's stuff going on here. But
Yeah, I watched it. I recently watched, and I'm not going to plug it, but I recently watched a Netflix program. Them talking about taking the Trans-Siberian Railway and coming up through Beijing, and I was excited for it. The visuals looked great. 5 minutes into it, they went personal. They went political, and I said, "What a missed opportunity." Can we just take the political hat off for a moment and just show the beauty of the country? They couldn't do it. And it actually, I looked at my wife and said, really? Like, really? So anyway, I sent you a message here on the private chat. We're going to show this area here. This is the Yellow Riverstone Forest area.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Gansu, yeah.
I want to show you guys, and you can give us maybe some of your experience, because this is kind of like the roads that you've taken with your car on before. But guys, get a load of this footage. And yes, this is real. It's not.
That definitely requires clarification, because that looks, yeah. I haven't been as far out as Gansu in that area, but I've been on roads that look like this. I mean, this is quite unique in the way that the way that it's carved into this particular mountain is really quite special. I mean, if you remember the other video you were showing just a minute ago on the Tibet road, it was a little bit more open and a little bit more flat. Well, I mean, it was going up a hill, but this is look at the dimension on this, and look at the side. Look how it drops off on the side towards that road. I think that's worth a second look also.
I've got another angle on it. Let's have a look at the other angle.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if those color coding is like kind of a warning also that something to do with the level of the bend or something like that, or I wonder if the
This
color
reminds
coding
me of
means
my
something.
electronic racetrack that I put together when I was a kid.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. I'm definitely gonna have to take note of where this road is. That's something. Oh, look at the size of the road too. When that car is traveling down it, you
Hmm.
get the sense of scale for how wide that road is. You know, a lot of the mountain roads that you saw back in 2008, 2009 here, like if you're going up to Juzaigo and stuff like that in the northern areas of Sichuan, you they're really small, windy roads, and you're just really nervous when you're going around the corners. If somebody's barreling around the corner, there's not really enough space to for both cars to fly by each other at any significant speed. But you look at the width of these roads. You look at these.
Yeah,
Look at the widths of these roads. These are big.
and I did a video. I had some of this on my landscape video I did a couple of weeks ago, and talking about some of the the river and waterfalls. They nicknamed it as one of the largest tea because the water is yellow. One of the largest tea waterfalls in the world. I think it was called the Big Tea or the Tea Pot. I think that's what it was called. It was kind of like this. You can see the water there. But that's and
Oh,
then it
yeah.
cascades through this whole range. It's just beautiful area.
Yes, that was Gansu province for the people who are asking. The last one was Gansu. This one is. Are we still in Gansu here?
We are in. Let me just pull up what I've got on this region here. 1 second. So this is it. Yeah, this is still located in the Gansu province. It's 70 kilometers away from Yingtai County. They're saying that the park is a total of 50 square kilometers. Ancient stone forest covers 10 kilometers of that. I still got some more. This, you guys will like this. This is cute. It's kind of like the dirt road through there, but it's also got some historic feeling to it. You'll see it. I think the camera angle, we go a bit lower here and get near the ground. I think I got the right clip here, but just breathtaking. What a beautiful sight to see, actually.
Yeah, no, that's spectacular. I mean, there's very few places that compare with that kind of.
Just give you a
Oh, there we go.
shot.
So that's going back to Chumalama, Everest, as some people like to refer to it as, on a more clear day.
Let's just give that one more shot.
Yeah. You see that snow coming off of the top too. Snow, or is it the cloud cover that's it might actually be some snow coming off. I got some really great night shots there too with Everest and the stars in the background. As I said, you can imagine how great star watching is up there.
Maybe this road, Daniel. I'm just going to put this up just to give you a briefer on it here. Put this up in our chat on the window there. You can have a look at this. Are you familiar with this province in China?
I'm familiar with it. I have been to this city, but I flew in. I flew into Xi'an, and
I'll just show you.
So I didn't get it.
I got some clips on the road. I just wanted to show you the road because since we're on, we were looking at the Everest Highway and as well as the Yellowstone Highway. This is the Panshan Highway. Once again, just remarkable.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Just zigzagging through the country. It's quite beautiful. Got a couple more clips here of the area that you may want to have a look at near the bottom of our clips that we uploaded in the. Do you see them there?
So we've got right towards the. So we've got the Changsha.
Let's go under in the index. You'll see toll booths, and then we go under, and then there's the ancient town. Do you see that Yunnan Stone Forest? Do you see those clips?
I don't. If you want to pull them up, you pull them up. I didn't even know that you could separate them by categories. How do you see that? If I go under brand.
Yeah, brand, and you just scroll down, you'll see the Shanghai one. and we're just go under it, and then there's the toll booth, and then the name should be on there. I don't. Okay.
Oh, Shijiazhuang. Oh, okay, Shijiazhuang. It's only in pinyin here, so yeah.
Do you see the one under that?
Ancient town and okay, Lijiang.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Bring those up. Yunnan province is one of my favorite places to drive, and I remember the first time I was driving to Shangri-La from Shenzhen, and just when you start entering in those areas with the hills and the beautiful blue skies, it blows you away. It's a very different kind of scenery than Tibet, but you're kind of getting up into that area. Definitely a lot more green. But yeah, you want to pull up. So this is a Lijiang scenic spot. So Lijiang is an interesting place. So they suffered a really big earthquake before, and that was one of the first times when a lot of China came together to kind of donate and stuff like that and build it back up. But the one thing is, I don't want to make this sound like I'm hating on Lijiang. There's some amazing natural places in Lijiang. 3 of my previous staff are Yizu from the Yi ethnic minority group, and their hometown is Lijiang, and I'm still in contact with them regularly. And they live in the more authentic areas of Lijiang. But for the main city parts, it's kind of built up to be really, really touristy. It's kind of like the Disneyland of Yunnan culture. I feel like if you go to Dali in Yunnan, you get a way more authentic Yunnan kind of a feel. And they've got a subculture of their own also, where you get some of these, also Yizu ethnic groups. I saw some of them. My friend opened a bar there called Bad Monkey. And you get these Yizu ethnic people coming in, and they've got dreadlocks and tattoos and stuff like that. They've got their own kind of like this subculture. It's really cool. So Dali, from the point of view of being a little bit more authentic feeling and also having its own thing developing and going on, definitely from a tourist's point of view is a bit better of an option from Lijiang. But if you can get into the Lijiang parts where you know people from the ethnic minority groups, or you can go into the villages and stuff like that, it's a different story. So we have, the Yunnan Stone Forest. Yeah. It's an amazing place. If Kunming City had a little bit more going on with it, like a good international school and things like that for the kids, I would totally live in Kunming. It's nice kind of weather overall. It doesn't get as hot and roasty as it does in Shenzhen. It doesn't get too cold in the winter also, but you're within such a short distance of such beautiful scenery all around you. I mean, that would be a dream to live in a place like that and have an RV and be able to camp out in places like this, along different places like that. But the Kunming is still a little bit behind in terms of being very international, and so for my kids, I want them to grow up with a little bit of both, kind of experiencing the international aspect and the Chinese aspect. So Shenzhen's pretty good in that regard. So this must be the Lijiang ancient town. So there was a bank. Which bank was it? Not the agriculture bank. It was one of the banks that built was behind that project. My friend bought one of those houses there. China Merchants Bank, I think it was behind that project.
Okay, so basically, I'm going to show you just a couple more quick clips, and I just want to thank the audience for coming out today. I just want to show you a couple more clips on. We should do this again, Daniel, huh?
Yeah, we should. This is cool. Yeah, we can load up some more clips, and then I gotta get this camera thing sorted out. This has been distracting me the whole time. I meant to have that nice camera that kept bugging out on us, but I'll get that sorted out, so I'll be less distracted.
In our future clips, here's going to be a couple of our future clips for you guys to see.
Oh,
I'm not gonna get into details on what these areas are, because just going to kind of leave it with the audience what you guys think of this stuff. If you're cool, we can go off the infrastructure stuff into the mountains and really get into some really awesome looking stuff. I mean,
this is like, if for anybody who's seen the cartoon series Avatar: The Airbender, this is totally the air nomad cities. This is the city of the airbenders, the air nomads. Like
Mount Huashan. Huashan, I think I pronounce it Huashan. Huashan, I think it's correct.
Huashan.
Yeah.
I don't see the clip. Yeah, I don't see the name on the clip, but yeah. Yeah.
And here's one more zinger for you guys. Are you ready for it? Here we go. This should get the appetite going.
Oh, yeah, look at that. That is the air temple. That is the Avatar Airbender air temple right there when it was in its prime. You can just imagine Aang hanging out there, scooting around on his air bubble. Look at that. I mean, this kind of stuff just should only exist in cartoons, or some sort of CGI. But this is real.
No, it's pretty spectacular, and we have a lot more of this stuff going to come up in future live streams. I need to tell the audience, when we're done our live stream today, I want you to watch the exit video that we're going to put on. After we end the show, we're going to put a thank you to the audience. I put a little bit of a 2-minute clip together. And also, if there are other content creators in China that would like to do collaborations on certain areas, I've done some with Cyrus Jensen on various cities. Jerry Good has spoken to me about Qingdao, doing some stuff on that city, and we'll probably get that together. Once again, it takes about 50 hours to put a 3 to 4 minute production together. Anyway, yes, I guess, Wolfgang, you're saying that's a teaser. I think that's what he means. Anyway, good stuff. So we want you guys to stick around to watch this outgoing outro video from us. And Daniel, I really appreciate you doing the show with me. We've been to a lot of these cities and a lot of this area around China. I think we got a lot more to talk about, so we're gonna have to do this again.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of stories about just driving in China in general. There were a few questions that came up about getting license and stuff like that. So that we can definitely go into a little bit more detail the next time. But yeah, we've gone on for 2 hours here, so we did pretty good. If you had any, same as you. Thank you everybody for joining us. This was fun. I'll get my actual camera sorted out next time. But overall, it was pretty good.
You're in a new studio too. You're in a new studio.
Yeah. So you're not supposed to be able to see this much of it with this sound absorbing material. The wood panels behind, like, it's supposed to be in nicely, so it looks like it's really nicely organized. But that camera up there, this thing here, the cam link keeps bugging out on me. So I gotta figure out what's going on. But it's still whatever. It worked. The most important thing was the visuals that you managed to put up. Some great footage that you got your hands on there. So it's all good.
So everyone, if you're from my audience and you're not sure, if you're not familiar with Daniel's channel, please hit the subscribe button. And there are various other people in our feeds here that are supporting us as well. Jerry Good's in there. Calibri Wings is in there. They got great channels on YouTube, so check those out as well. And various other YouTubers in our community. I'm sure you know them all. They've either done collaborations or weekend shows with us. There was a question asking me why we haven't done the Let's Talk China show. Just to let you guys know, I'm still dealing with a lot of ear issues. I've had some serious inner ear stuff. It's been an absolute pain. So today is pretty much taking up all my energy, probably for the week. Don't know if you know about tinnitus. Have you ever heard of that, Daniel?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, so I've had it in this ear for about 9 months now, and it hasn't gone away. So it's consistent. I'm sure a lot of people in the audience probably know about it, but it's a consistent noise, and it just doesn't go away.
Yeah.
It never goes away. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, we're going to leave you with some pretty spectacular stuff here. And Daniel, always a pleasure to do a collaboration with you here. And your knowledge of China is impeccable, and thank you very much for that. Do you want to do any more shout outs to people from your channel that have had some questions or anything?
No, there's a lot of people here. I didn't get to monitor everything as we went along, so just basically thanks to everybody. I see a lot of familiar names in here, so just thanks to everybody who showed up. Looking forward to the next time. I've got a few other things coming too. Hopefully, if everything goes well, I've got an interview with someone from Nepal on Monday. It won't be live. I'll record it and then upload it afterwards. That's going to be a lot more political about the kind of China and India situation and how they're stuck in the middle. And then another big video coming up on Tibet with an author who wrote a massive book on Tibet, somebody from Europe who really has a deep understanding of Tibet. That's going to get very political also. This is a little bit of a different thing for my channel to kind of just do something non-political. It's a nice little reset, I think. Once in a while, this is good. But as you know, that's usually the thing I always kind of go back to, is talking about politics a bit more. It's probably a bit of a surprise to some of the people in the chat saying, what happened? Who is this guy?
This weekend, I've got another video coming out. It's called China's... oh, man. My wife's been helping me edit this. It's on some amazing architecture that it's going on. It's going to be good. Trust me, it'll be great. Last week we had China's top 10 richest cities, and that video is just rocking right now too. So you can check that out on my channel. Anyway, thank you very much, audience. Please watch the outro. We made it for you guys. It'll also allow the audience to say their goodbyes to the other people they've been chatting to. So we'll leave it at that, Daniel, and we'll go to the show outro now. This is for you guys. Take care.
Take care.